This video is sponsored by Photrus. Photrus, because weather planning was yesterday. Yeah, that's so interesting. Fog makes landscape photography so much easier, especially woodland photography. And there are a couple of clear requirements we need for getting fog predicted. And we don't only need some of them, we need them all to get fog in there. But what I found out over the years is that it also happens quite often that there is fog, although it was not predicted by any weather service out there. And as that happened too often to me, I have to say, I tried to figure out how I could anyway predict fog in such a paradoxical situation like that. So this video offers you simply more fog for your landscape photography. My friends, a very good morning. I'm super excited today because I'm in an enchanting woodland and we've got some fog predicted for today. And the thing is, actually, we don't have all the components we would need for getting fog predicted. And there's also no weather service and no weather app out there which would predict fog for today. But we anyway got some, as you can see a little bit in the distance here. I will tell you later a bit more about how you can predict anyway fog in a situation like that with using Photrus, but also without, just with using weather maps. But first of all, I would say let's have a look if we can find a composition. And to be honest, I don't know how long it will really last, because we also have a little bit of an updrift. This means, yeah, you know, when the air is rising. I will also talk about that a little bit later. But anyway, right now it looks really fantastic. The problem is the updrift, I have to say. Everything is rising up a little bit, so it turns a bit to be mist instead of fog. So it's a little bit higher up. It touched a little bit more in that direction. The problem is, I mean, it would work to take a photograph in that direction right now. It's just we don't have a composition here. I mean, the trees are still bleak here. We have spring, but yeah, many trees have already their foliage up there, as you can see, but not all. So I'm a bit limited here with my possibilities. But anyway, let's find out if it's anyway possible to get a photograph. Really amazing. What fantastic conditions we have here right now. As you can see up there, we have already a light up there, and when I drove here with my car this morning, there was everything clear, no atmospheric conditions at all. When you look up there, we have even blue sky up there. Everywhere it looked like that. Just back there we have already the light up there, so it's really amazing. Just this area here is with fog. Photrus has predicted that, and it also predicted that it could turn to mist. It always changed a little bit, so when we look here, it's a little bit of softness there. Also here to the distance, I found the composition here right now. Here are so many tree trunks and roots around, and I use this root here as my foreground element. I have this tree here, some spring foliage back there, and that's the mist is really fantastically rolling in. I would say, let's make the click. It is absolutely crazy. Before I was a little bit more back there, and now I came over here because it really looks promising here. There are more and more full spring foliage to see here up on the trees. It looks really fantastic, and we still have all the fog here. The trees here in the foreground is kind of, yeah, it builds a kind of natural frame here. This little tree here at the left hand side. We have this bigger tree at the right hand side, and what I really love are all these tree trunks. Back there we have this mossy tree trunk. It looks really, really fantastic, and this softness back to the distance. Oh man, I'm look into the distance. Yeah, we have blue sky up there. Also a little bit of alpenglow back there. I mean, it was also possible to take some vista shots or something like that. But as I live in an area where we don't have fog all often, I have to say, it's really a seldom phenomenon here in my area. It's so fantastic. I really enjoy it. It's amazing, and it makes woodland photography so much easier actually, because you get this separation. Just when you look back there, you get the separation between the elements, because the fog hides all the thinner branches into the distance, and that really helps. It really helps. It's so easy to shoot woodlands in conditions like that. So I'm already in setup here. I'm at around about 40 millimeters ISO 100, half of a second half of a second exposure, something like that, because it's so still. There's really no wind going through. I really can do that. And yeah, I've also circular polarizer on. That's quite important in woodland to get all the greens, all the colors popping out. And yeah, I would say let's make the click. The fog always rolls a little bit in. We have an updrift, it rises a little bit, then it gets pressed down again. So it's really, really interesting. Before we had a light spot up there on that hill in the distance. Now we have yeah, a little bit of mist again. So we really get this fantastic separation to the distance. And yeah, I like the roots, these tree trunks there, the spring foliage, which a tiny bit of hoarfrost. I mean, it's not really recognizable. It's a really hoarfrost. I mean, it's yeah, micro hoarfrost or something like that. And I like this diagonal here of this tree, of this fallen tree here, and all the definition also on the ground. It's really, really fantastic. And yeah, I'm here at around about 45 millimeters circular polarizer on, and I would say, let's make the click. That's really, really amazing. We still have fog, and I'm at the same place, by the way. Yeah, I'm walking around here in a circle of, I would say, a radius of 15, 20 meters, something like that. And I always find compositions. Again, it's so easy with fog as we get this isolation. Now what I found is, and that's quite cute, let me show you. I found this baby tree here. It looks a little bit, I mean, it doesn't, but it looks a little bit as it would grow out from this tree trunk from the perspective, and when we look a little bit more like that, it looks really fantastic. We have the spring foliage at the left hand side, another tree trunk down there, and all the softness to the distance. And I'm here with my camera, I'm here in setup. Tricky thing, by the way, was to find the right height. And on one hand, I wanted to go low enough to get a nice separation from this baby tree to the distance. On the other hand, we have also a stick here at the left side behind a little bit in the distance, and I didn't want to touch it with the tree trunk. I think I got it to work. Still circular polarizer on. I'm at 55 millimeters f11, ISO 100, and I would say, let's make the click. Oh man, what a wonderful morning. It's really, really fantastic. And the sun starts already to rise behind that peak here. This means the light gets already too harsh. Also the mist and the fog rose already, so it doesn't really make sense to take more photographs here. But anyway, I'm so happy that I got fog predicted. And again, usually no other weather app or weather service would predict fog in a situation like that. I would say let's go back to Murphy's. I will show you what you can do to get anyway fog predicted, because situations like that happen quite often, I have to say. No weather service can predict fog in a paradoxical situation, and that is because we need a couple of requirements to get fog. Just to explain the principle quickly, we need high humidity, which leads to a breakthrough in the air. That means the water inside the air doesn't have enough space anymore because the air got compressed by cold temperatures. We need also no wind, but a little wind is better than completely no wind. Rain has an impact on the building process of ground fog, as it twirls the air around, straight on the surface and so. But one of the most important elements for getting fog built is the air pressure. We need high pressure so that, the air can't rise, so that the fog stays down on the ground. Otherwise, it would turn to mist, followed by low-level clouds. And the air pressure is also the common problem with fog forecasts. And let me show you quickly how that is handled, how air pressure is detected by weather models. We just have to look at a global weather map of geopotential height. 500 hectopascals is fine here, that's around 5,500 meters above sea level. I photographed here today, and this area here belongs to this low pressure area here, which is surrounded by high pressure areas. So that's definitely a low pressure area. So in case there is a breakthrough on the ground, it will immediately rise up so that clouds are built instead of fog on the ground. But we got anyway fog. How can that be? And the answer is simplification. Weather models tend to work with air packages, just to simplify a complex structure. Let's say we have an air package here with 990 hectopascals, and besides that there is one with 1010 and one with 1020 hectopascals. So the air pushes in from the side, and so our air wants to rise, right? Because there's nothing above which would block it. That's the way how weather models work with air pressure. But that's just a model. In reality, there is not only one air package with one air pressure. In reality, we have many little air packages inside our big air package, thousands. And let's say we have one with 970 hectopascal, one with 1000, one with 980, for instance, side by side inside our big air packages, inside our big low. The sum of all them is lower than that of the surrounding highs, of course, which makes it to a low from the global point of view. But inside that low could be some air packages which lead to high pressure inside the low. And that can lead to a paradoxical situation that we get even fog although there is a low. And there's really no weather service out there that would consider that, because it's simply not important enough for most of the cases, because it just leads to fog in very small areas, and that just for 1 or 2 hours or something like that. So that's not important for the public, it's just important for landscape photographers. The problem is just that happens quite often, I have to say. So how can we use this knowledge now to get fog predicted also when there is a low, also when it's not predicted? And there are 2 ways. Now, in case you're using Photrus, just select fog for your locations and lean back till Photrus has sent you a notification. For premium users, Photrus works with something that is called relative pressure. That means it scans the areas of up to 1,000 of kilometers around your locations for differences in the air pressure. And by that, it calculates the real highs and lows for you, for your locations. One important thing here is this value here, depress. This is the difference pressure or delta pressure, however you want to call it. Is it positive, we get the air pressed down, which is good for fog, obviously. The fog is locked down in that case, which is what we want. Is it negative, we get an updrift. Is the negative value too high, we don't get fog as the air will rise. Is it just a few hectopascals instead, it could turn to mist. And is it around 0 as it was today, it could happen that the fog gets up and down again. So a mist fog alternation or something like that. Today we had just 940 hectopascals because, by the way, that's usually a quite safe low, so absolutely no chance for fog usually. But Photrus anyway found the fog with the difference air pressure, with the deep press. So Photrus users are fine, and for those who use weather maps instead, I can give you the following tip. Don't make the same mistake as weather models. Don't only look for global pressure. Look for regional weather maps instead, which are higher resolution. As you can see in this map here, for instance, which is a map of Austria, you can see that there are differences between smaller areas. Regional weather models simply consider smaller air packages of just a few kilometers. We have a little air bubble here with a higher pressure, another one here, and so on. And so I can find out if there is maybe anywhere an air bubble above an area where I want to photograph fog. If there's also enough humidity, of course, which is defined inside the humidity map. Yeah, I will link you my favorite weather maps down in the description, by the way. They are completely free of charge and they are calculated with a quite high resolution, so they are really accurate, I have to say. Unfortunately, they don't cover the entire world. Photrus covers the entire world, by the way. Yeah, that's a question I get quite often asked. Christian, does Photrus work worldwide? Yes, it does. But however, there exist a lot of different weather map providers out there which cover different areas of the world. And if you shouldn't know how to read weather maps to make your own predictions, watch this video here next to explain everything in detail. And friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. If yes, give me a thumb up. And thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.